Well, we all know if you drink and drive, you're a bloody idiot. But what if you do drugs and drive? According to police, the numbers are scary and the consequences even more so.
I'm driving on a busy motorway. I'm just one of thousands of cars on this piece of road which has a speed limit of about 100 kilometres an hour. What I'm about to tell you is as staggering as it is frightening. As I look around me, 1 in 10 drivers, potentially more, is impacted by illegal drugs.
He'd been drinking, was drug affected and speeding.
And statistically, we're seeing drug driving becoming such an issue.
Really, it keeps me awake at night. There's about 1 in 10 positive when they're tested.
1 in 10.
1 in 10.
Think about that for a minute. Then listen to the stats for drink driving. 1 in 300.
So you do the maths.
3 of their 6 children, Anthony, Angelina and Sienna, and their niece Veronique Saker were killed on February 1st when an out-of-control ute mounted the footpath as they walked to the shops near their Oatlands home.
Plays heavily on my mind. And I was at Traffic and Highway Patrol Command and we started the Road Trauma Support Group for those families that have lost loved ones. People take enormous risk unnecessarily and they put everyone else's life at risk.
It's an ever-increasing problem, and what it concerns me, Simon, is that as a society we now are attuned to the fact that drink driving is socially unacceptable. And good morning and welcome.
Radio broadcaster Ray Hadley has been outspoken on the issue.
But we have a far greater problem with people who drive influenced by drugs, a far greater problem, and it appears to me society is not thinking about that in the same way they think about drink driving.
In New South Wales, the problem has become so great, drug driver testing has become a priority.
Just scrape them down your tongue 3 times for me.
It works like this. A driver is tested using the lick stick. If that shows positive, the driver is tested a second time and saliva is taken. That oral fluid is then sent to an analytical laboratory for further testing. Up until now, the whole process could have taken months. Now it can be done in just days.
The drug testing happens now roadside. Officers don't need to take people back to a police station for a secondary test.
Which means more cops on the road and more drug tests. Police Commissioner Karen Webb.
They are there, they're amongst us. And we're talking about illegal drugs.
Cannabis, methamphetamine, cocaine, ecstasy.
So you've got the control lines on the right here, the bold ones?
Yep.
And then any line to the left of that. So you see that one on the top?
Yep.
That's deemed a positive result for cannabis.
For cannabis, okay.
He was positive for cannabis.
And there's a very faint line to cocaine.
Yeah.
So
That driver is banned from getting behind the wheel for 24 hours. His sample then sent for further testing, which could see him hauled before the courts. A Current Affair was given rare access to the laboratory team that conducts the testing.
This is the first step that we take in the analysis of the oral fluid.
Lab technician Jordan Lob-Pazinski.
This robot is called the TCAN. So we take 100 microlitres of the oral fluid for testing, which is about 1/10 of a mil.
This robot is one of the most advanced of its type in the world. It ensures there is no cross-contamination as each sample is handled completely separately. From here, the sample is loaded into a centrifuge before entering the final stage. Operations Director, Dr. Santiago Vasquez.
And what it does is separates all of the chemical molecules in that sample.
They're fed into the mass spectrometer.
That gives us a very unique mass fingerprint for each drug.
OK, in English. The end result is each individual drug can be detected. That data then shows up on a computer. The spikes show illegal drugs.
Methamphetamine, MDMA, cannabis, cocaine.
It is a very extensive process and rigorous process, the analysis of those samples. We're ensuring the chain of custody is maintained and ensuring the accuracy and the precision of the results.
Automation and technology have seen the testing procedure streamlined.
Turnaround time, as we call it, has fallen to approximately 10 business days.
The work here is critical.
There's consistent work and it's ever increasing. We have to do a lot of work here in the lab to accommodate those increasing numbers.
Just scrape them down your tongue 3 times for me.
We've often said don't drink and drive, and the message now is don't take drugs and drive, as well as don't drink and drive.